Hey there, I'm Hank Chen. Find me online, Hankster Chen, YouTube, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. And the guy next to me, this is J.W. Harvey. Very distinguished, sir. Thank you for joining us from the 1940s.
James William Harvey III.
Is it really?
That is what I am, James William Harvey III.
So your grandfather was James, wow. J.W. Harvey here. I actually connected with you through an article on the Huffington Post that got a little bit of traction.
Usually when we open the door at midnight, we're expecting, you know, like, I don't know, someone drunk or somebody,
right,
you know,
or a pizza delivery.
Right, well, usually, yeah, if we can afford it that week.
Right.
You know, we don't expect to open the door to find something like, you gay bitch, middle finger. We think it was like, you gay bitch, is what we think.
So they were missing, so the punctuation was off.
There was, right.
Yeah.
We tried to figure it out, because then there was the middle finger, and there was that penis.
Penis!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean...
I saw that, yeah, it was actually a pretty sizable penis. That's some compliment
right?
there.
I mean, you know, he definitely seemed to know what he was doing.
Right, exactly.
But this building is usually actually a pretty nice place.
And what neighborhood are we in?
Washington Heights.
Great.
You know, I've lived here for 2 years almost. I've never had a problem once. We've never really had any issue except for, you know, the kids that threw rocks at our window. So this goes back...
That's a problem. I feel like that's a problem.
It's a problem, but
especially since your bed is... your head faces a window.
Not right. So luckily we have this lovely window here that's far enough. But in the kitchen, we have that window that actually faces the kid's bedroom, who came and, you know, wrote stuff on our door. So for the past, you know, probably 2 years, he's been throwing stuff at our window, and we just kind of figured he was a kid and whatever. When this happened...
How old is this kid?
Well, we didn't know at the time. It was his 12th birthday that night, so literally that was, you know, his birthday party fun.
He was birthday present to himself, is what he did.
You know, so we honestly just thought, you know...
You're like, whatever,
kids,
it's a kid,
you know,
right, and nothing breaks, it just hits your window, and it's like, oh, hello, good morning,
right,
continue drinking your coffee, and then...
It was annoying, but, you know, it's like, I think we can all look back when we were kids, and we're like, okay, we did stupid things, whatever, you know? Problem came, you know, when they started to this,
targeting you. Yeah. And this is why I can never live in this neighborhood, because I'm one that'll get shot, because I'll stick my head out the window, I'll be like, hey, you little fucker, you wanna throw a goddamn rock at me? Like, that'll be me, boom, out, gone.
Yeah, you know, we tried to be civilized, we tried to be whatever.
To be polite.
We tried to not be
let
like,
it go.
you know, crazy, like you're obviously crazy, Hank, so, you know, we try not to do this, you know? But,
welcome to the neighborhood.
This is normal. That's just what I call the music, you know.
Yeah, ambiance. It's white noise.
It's beautiful.
Rocks you to sleep. The interesting thing is you actually made a choice with your roommates to call the police when you found out that it was a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
So this is actually a really interesting part of the article. I got a lot of feedback from people on this who didn't like necessarily how that was, you know, how it was handled, or thought maybe you should have ignored it. First off, when we opened the door, you know, and saw that, we didn't know. We didn't actually know what had happened. We literally called the police to report a hate crime because that's what we felt that it was. We felt, okay, if something is escalating in this neighborhood, you know, and we're getting targeted for it, it's better to put a stop to it now.
Right.
So we really wanted to just handle it like we would anything else. And then, yeah, we did go and play detective a little bit, you know, and we went outside and we found a tube of sunblock that had a kid's name written on it. And we were like, this must be from summer camp or something. And then when we really thought about...
so stupid, and you're like...
I mean, I was like, really, your name's on this? We went to the kitchen where they'd been throwing rocks at us. And, of course...
The rocks had their name on it, too!
Right, they did. It's like, you know, his, like, home-recorded CDs.
I know.
He picked up his cat and threw it out the window at us, and we knew
with the collar and the address on it.
The address, his phone number, and, you know, we're like, Mr. Fluffy, Mr. Fluffy.
This gets better and better. Oh, please, the cat in this neighborhood is named, like, T-Bone or something like that. So you saw the name and proceeded.
And so we went back to the kitchen, and when we saw a bunch of kids looking at us again and throwing stuff at us, we were like, huh, how funny. They're being really reactive right now.
Yeah.
When I knew it was a kid, it was like already right away. It's like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? We're not gonna press charges, you know? Like, if you're 12 years old...
He is so lucky it was not my door.
I mean, it's a lot of people have said that. A lot of people have said, you know, that you were too you know, too light on him, that you were too. A lot of people said the opposite.
Yeah, you got, this was a very polarizing article is what I recognized in the comments. People felt very strongly one way, people felt strongly the other way. It was almost like you couldn't win. All you can do is tell your story.
Right, and that was okay. I mean, the funniest thing about any of this stuff is, you know, you decide in the moment what you're going to do. You know, we talked about writing this letter to them to really try to get our point across, to say something. You know, what I've been referring it to is like meaningful flamboyance is pride. You know, I was like, what is pride? I was like, pride is just meaningful flamboyance. That's why we act out. That's why we whatever.
That is my new favorite term. Meaningful flamboyance.
Right?
Excuse me. Meaningful flamboyance over here.
These heels are meaningful flamboyance.
Flamboyance with the purpose.
You know, this is saying something. This is postmodern heel wearing.
Got it.
But so, snap, snap, snap.
Right.
When I wrote that, that was kind of the point, was kind of to be sarcastic and say like, look, I take this seriously, but at the same time, like, I don't. Like, I know that this is a kid.
Right.
Like, this is your responsibility to take care of it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
You know, it starts at home. That was our way of addressing it and kind of standing up for ourselves and, you know, putting a picture of us that we had took. We're all like wearing. We called it our Burberry fashion shoot, and we just sat there one night and like we put on all the stuff and like took these like.
So these photos like sincerely stop vandalizing our door.
Right.
Don't do it again. So the police came. You had a conversation with them, and then at what point did you involve the kid?
We were actually a little nervous to call the NYPD first off because we've had actually issues in the past. We didn't think that they would actually respect what was on the door.
Right.
So we were actually very surprised when these officers were incredibly helpful, and their first thought was like, "What? Do you know who did it?" And we were like, "Maybe." You know, we're not really sure. We think it was like the kids next door who, you know, at the time, again, we didn't really ever see them. All we saw was like their little heads peeking through the window.
Throwing shit at your window.
Throwing Mr. Fluffy at us, you know?
and you thought the cops would be like, what? Look, it's a penis. Look, they threw a penis, huh?
Like,
just wipe it off.
Wipe it off.
What's wrong with you? 1 o'clock in the morning.
No big deal.
I know. You know, my fucking beat's about to end, alright? Alright, peace out, queers, you know?
Literally, that is what we thought was going to happen. And we didn't really want to feel, you know...
marginalized or further... It's almost like adding insult to injury.
And so when he was incredibly supportive, we decided, you know, like, okay...
He probably has a gay in the family. It's probably you never know. Yeah. Everyone knows someone.
He might have been gay himself.
Everyone knows someone.
You never know.
And that's the power of coming out. So...
It's very true. It's
living in your truth. All right, sidebar. Back to your story.
Right. Luckily, now this kid knows somebody too. You know, that was actually the entire point.
Yeah.
You know, the cops, you know, knocked on the door, and the mom opened the door at the first point and went to go wake up the kid. And this poor kid's like rolling out of bed, and we find out that, you know, this...
It was his birthday!
We found out it was his birthday. And so I was just kind of like, hey, I was like, you know, you got something to explain?
Right.
And the kid was like, no. And it was the funniest...
liar.
Because he was immediately, like, you could tell that he was like, oh, this is like a big deal, this isn't funny. He denied it, of course. And the cops pulled out the tube sunblock and like, does this look familiar? He literally, like, it looked like he was about to crap himself. You know? And right then we were like, okay, we aren't just like the assholes next door who are assuming that it's this kid. Like, it actually was a 12-year-old who went and did this to us. You know? It was pretty... enlightening is not even the right word. It was pretty shocking. It was pretty, like... I didn't know if I should have sympathy or if I should, you know, be more upset.
I'm feeling bad for the kid right now listening to this story. I can imagine being caught up in that headspace where you think that something is, you know, fun, innocent little prank. You know, I'm sure he's called, you know, his classmates gay or whatever, done rambunctious shit at school. Nothing like this has ever happened.
Nothing, right.
And so, alright, so he finally fessed up to it.
Right. So he did. He admitted to it. I mean, the mother was pretty adamant that it wasn't him, regardless of what the kid was saying. Of course, you know, he finally just came out and said, like, it was me and my cousins and my friends, and we just, you know, we were just having fun, and we didn't know, and
the mother was like, let me shut the fuck up.
Right.
Let me...
And she stopped.
Let me stop, yeah.
The cops very politely, I mean, seriously, NYPD they handled this very well. They did not scare him. They were not mean to him. They just explained to him, this is not acceptable. You know, you can't treat your neighbors like this. You can't, you know, write things on other people's property. Obviously, you know, being a 12-year-old coming from the police, that says something very different than if I had said it myself. At that point, you know, we asked him to come and clean the door. You know, I was like, hey, listen, I don't really want to clean my door.
Right.
Do you mind coming over and cleaning the door? And
Come on down, Cinderella.
It was really symbolic, you know, to like, to me, you know, just as a writer, kind of thinking like, you know, I wonder if this dawned on him like this metaphor between like, you know, something that he put, you know, and like taking it out. And I was like, I wonder if there's like some sort of like mental, you know, erasing that we can do too, mental undoing. And so
it'll hit him 20 years from now. He's not that deep right now. 20 years from now, he'll. Yeah,
you gotta put it right. And that's what it was like.
Plant a seed,
and that's what it was. And so I went up, and I was like, and that's when I was like, you know, I really need to talk to him. Like, if he's, I don't want him to be scared. I don't want him to think that this is like a, like, you know, you gay bitch. Like, no, you gay bitch. Here's the police. Like, I didn't want to like get in his face about it or make him think that we were trying to scare him or that we were the mean neighbors. So I wanted to go talk to him one-on-one and tell him, you know, how I felt. And that's when I was like, do you really think that this is who we are? Do you think that we deserve this? Do you think that this is something that you have a right to say? I think that he felt, I don't know, shame or guilt, and it actually made me really feel sympathetic for him.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to talk to him, and that's why, like, really at the end of talking to him, I was just like, listen, you know, like...
He's like, don't touch me.
Okay. Well, no, actually, I know.
Right.
I thought that he would. I thought he would jump away or something, but he didn't mind, and he really did. He was really receptive to it, and I was just like, listen, like, thank you, you know, like, by the way, if this isn't clean enough in the morning, you know, you're coming back. Because, you know, I want to leave him on a good note, but still treat it with the severity that it was.
Exactly.
While I was cleaning the door, my roommates were showing the police out and kind of like talking and then finishing up with them.
Yeah.
And
making them creme brulee, some homemade iced tea. I know, exactly.
Some strawberry lemonade, mimosas.
Putting a shawl around them.
Let's get you a haircut. Let's do that hair.
Yeah, I know that we were joking about this earlier, but I really would like to think that maybe 10, 15 years from now that he really reflects on this situation. I mean, you might hate gay people until then, but it could even mirror that experience that a lot of, like the civil rights movement, you know, a lot of people that weren't very nice to black people in the 60s or 70s, now the older, they're like, yeah, that was wrong. That wasn't nice of me to do that. Shouldn't have done that.
I don't want to say, you know, that you take a step in parenting. It's not intentional to parent. I think that, you know, you get parented by society in a way.
Yeah.
And that was kind of I felt like duty at that point.
Yeah.
I talk about this in the next article I'm writing. This is actually what it's all about.
We're gonna do a follow-up piece in the Huffington Post. Fantastic. Links are all down below, people. Twitter, Huffington Post. This guy. He's a good writer. Real deep stuff.
Sometimes.
He's also single, so if you guys want to, hit him up. Yeah.
Oh, adopt a baby with me.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Wow. You don't hold back. So you're gonna do a follow-up article.
And so it's actually all about, you know, kind of these thoughts that were going through my head this night about, you know, being a kid and making, you know, decisions that aren't the best. And, you know, what really dawned on you is you don't know if this kid himself might have to come out someday, you know? I mean, it's an interesting thing to think about. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to assume that. But it was an interesting thing to think about as I looked in the context of, I guess, you know, my own, you know, homophobia growing up. You separate yourself from it.
That's very true, yeah.
You know? It's like if you're scared of something you identify with that you don't want to identify with, then you kind of push it away. If nothing else, hopefully he learns that you can't write that on someone's door.
Yeah.
You know?
And if he does come out, he knows that there are people like you in the world that'll take a stand.
That are good. Could any of us actually have come out ever if we didn't have people like that? You know, that's the thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about the people who came before you to set that tone.
It's that support and it's that feeling that, you know, you meet people that you say, this isn't so bad, this is okay, you know, we can get through this together. That's really what it's about.
Fantastic. Well, awesome. XJW Harvey. I look forward to reading that second article on the Huffington Post. He's got a lot of other stuff online too. If you guys want to stalk him on a day-to-day basis, find JW Harvey on Twitter as well as the Huffington Post. All links are down below, like I said. My name is Hank Chen. Find me online at HanksterChen. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.
Peace.